Welcome everyone to the Co-Creators Convergence Thursday night Creator Convo. I'm Noel Marshall and I'm here with my beloved.
Hi everybody, it's Bob. I'm glad to have you with us this evening. Michael, it's going to be a delightful time. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and all that will be watching this evening and whenever, because there is no such thing as time. So everyone who joins us, whenever they join us, whenever they watch the recording, are going to be right here, right now. Thanks for being with us. Noel.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Michael. Before I give a formal introduction of Michael tonight, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Co-Creators Convergence. So please stand by. So welcome everyone watching online and in person here. And those of you who are in person are really going to get the extra special treatment. And those of you who are watching on Facebook, I put the Zoom link there. So come on into the room because you're gonna meet a very special person, Michael Andre Ford. Bob and I have had, what, a 2-hour session together. And he's very connected to angels and fairies and stardust, and just look at him. He's just beaming, radiant. So yeah, there we go. Well, let me tell you, give a little more formal introduction about Michael. So he is a person who helps people hear, feel, and see angels. Mary, Buddha, Plato, Thich Nhat Hanh, Mother Teresa, Jesus, Ganesh, over 170 plus figures, plus passed over loved ones. I'm really interested in that one too. His website is michaelandreford.com. And to give you an idea of people who have already engaged with him, it's pretty amazing. The Chopra Center, the Esalen, Gaia, Austin Opera, the West Point, plus nurses, doctors, PAGCOS, ex-Miss USA, literary agent, ex-Miss Hawaii, a Buddhist chaplain. So let's say that he's been around, and he does have some pictures and photos he's going to show us of angels, fairies, Plato even. And he also has a book that I highly recommend. Michael's book, Listening to Angels, was Amazon's #2 bestseller. And let me read you this book review because it comes from someone very special. Anita Morjani, if you happen to recognize her, who had a very dramatic near-death experience and wrote a book called Dying to Be Me. And so she says, the knowledge of heavenly angels is made available to us in this powerful little book as we learn how to communicate, receive guidance, enhance our intuition, and obtain divine access to the unlimited universal power of angels. A must read. So Michael also has, he's a show host of angels, positivity, and love, all of which exude from him. And he has also presented at the Omega Institute and the Shift Network, and it's been on Coast to Coast AM for 4 hours. He has the energy to do it, believe me. So anyway, without any further ado, Michael Andre Fort, welcome to the Co-Creators Convergence.
Thank you, Noel. And thanks, Bob, too, for having me on.
It's a delight to have you here. And before we jump in, would you mind doing just a short centering for us? And then I do have a few questions I want to ask you before you, I know that you just have a wealth of gifts to share with us, but let's start with a centering just to bring everyone into the circle, if you would, please.
Sure. And just a couple words on how easy it is. You just heard a lot, but my point would be anybody out there who's simply willing to be open for just a little bit in their heart has got it all. Think of your favorite psychic or your favorite medium or your person who does this or does that. And, we all have that reaction. Oh, I couldn't possibly do that. You have the ability to do basic listening, basic feeling, basic seeing. And we're talking angels, guides, your past ever loved ones, light beings, fairies, Plato, you name it. And so anyone can do this. And I've got a little bit of sage, the type you get from a Whole Foods. I think it's Juniper Ridge. It's on my website. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. Crate and barrel tea light to hold it. One of those rainbow shells, I forgot the name, and a red-tailed hawk feather. I got to switch hands just to do the lighter, but I've done this on at least 20, 25 shows in the last year. You can catch the sage smoke where you're at. My only rule, whether you're meeting an angel, your relatives, is just to let go, to get from here to here. You got to remember my rule. I've been doing this 12 years. I'll forget the most only basic thing, but it's just, hey, angels, make a request, set your intent. Angels, get me out of my head, into my heart, make this nice. Amen, rock and roll, thank you. If you're from India, Om Sai Ram. You own it, the patented, your way. That's it. So silently right now, ask angels, if you don't mind me saying angels, I've got photos of angels. I help people see them full on. That's the world I live in, and we all live in. Just go ahead and ask them to make it nice, but catch the sage smoke where you're at. And even if this is taped and you're watching this in 2025, you can do this. I've had Australian podcast hosts in Brisbane. I can pronounce the city correctly now. In New Zealand, in Germany, in France, in England, and Ireland do this. No big deal. A little bit of smoke. Leave your eyes on the smoke. Catch the smoke your way. And here's how linear we are. You might actually just catch the sage smoke, but now ask angels to make it really nice. Like if you were gardening yesterday, ask for it to kind of go up and down you a little and get a little relief. If you're sore, catch a floral smell in the air. Why settle for a linear transaction when you can go a little bigger? What will you allow for? And if you're nervous about the topic, ask for grounding, centering, just getting to your heart, a stretch, a yawn. Think of a pleasant vacation memory. Anything works. A million ways into your heart. And we just did this before the show. So I'm going to mention that Noel and Bob have already done this just before the show, and they did it the last time we spoke too. Some people taste it on their mouth. It's just a reaction. Some people are hypersensitive. As I'm lighting it, they're already getting it, or they're tasting it on their mouth. It's an energetic transaction if you need a way to wrap your head around it. Okay, I'll just do this a little more. I'll stub it out. Play it over again if you're watching this and it's taped. And I do have videos on this at my website, at my YouTube channel, and every guest on the show since January. Lorna Byrne did this. Her show doesn't come out until I think like July 20th or so. And many other show hosts have been on who have done this, and they're mediums and psychics and so on.
I caught the scent.
Yes.
So I don't know if anyone else did, but yes, I definitely caught the scent. So wonderful. Before you jump in, Michael, I'd like to know, I'm sure our viewers and those here would like a little bit of knowledge about how you got to where you are. I mean, did you have a near-death experience? I know that you had a career, you said, as PR in New York. I know you're in San Antonio now, on your way to Hawaii, of course. That's where you're going to end up, right? So give us a little bit of, give us a little bit of background on Michael.
Sure. I'm an East Coaster. I'm in San Antonio these days. I was born in Pensacola at the Air Naval Station. I'm 55, turning 56 in February, but my dad passed in 1970 when I was 2. It was his time to go in an F4 Phantom accident off of Italy. Again, it was his time to go. We put him into Arlington in 1998. It took 6 months to review that. They shut down the airports. It was on the front page of the Washington Post above the fold. So that was the first sort of big loss or just missing part of life as you're growing up. Also, my mom passed when I was turning 23. And when I was probably around 22, I did have a near-death experience that I've only mentioned twice on air. It was brief. I was surfing or bodyboarding, and I was really close to shore. But I got pitched, and I hit the bottom, I swear, like 2 feet from shore, but it was a little bit of a drop-off. I saw stars when my head hit. It wasn't my time to go, but if you talk to angels, I don't mind, you know, I've got no privacy in a way. My dad came in along with angels, and it wasn't my time to go, and somehow I, you know, woke up and did not drown. So take that for what it's worth. I don't have any other really cool story about that. A lot of people have near-death experiences. They get to hang out for a while, make the decision to come and go. But it turns out my life path is about helping others let go to meet their own personal cheerleading squad, their own angels. But I've got about 170 figures on the front end who steal the limelight. Mother Teresa, Plato, Geronimo's super popular, believe it or not. Just wily and fun and engaging, totally here to get you going for motivation and get you moving forward in life. And I would just add, this is about, if we took out the angels and took out our relatives and the other side, it's really just about, I'm going to quote angels here, 7% less thinking a day or a week, just pumping the brakes a little on what we know, the fear, the worry, the stress, reacting, rejecting, all the stuff, you know, guilt, shame, self-doubt, all the stuff that holds us back from just a little more love or relaxing daily. So if you can just spend an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, it doesn't have to be talking to angels, reading a book, going for a walk, doing poetry, whatever your thing is, gardening more, that is, according to angels, the Olympic gold medal standard, or you're an Olympian if you do that. And you'll find that life unfolds, you'll walk a smoother path, so to speak. And that would be one of the top things I've picked up on in the last 11 or 12 years.
Awesome. Well, I just want to let people know that you can write in any comments, questions, chat, anything in the chat, and we will bring that in. We will have it, you know, we'll open it up, Michael, anytime that you want. Also, for the folks that are on Facebook, you may also, you know, if you put something in the chat there, Bob is monitoring that and he will bring it over. So, Michael, I know how you operate because we had such a wonderful 2-hour session together. It was fabulous. And so I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm here the whole time. I'm going to be listening and interacting with your angels as well, and my angel. And just holler when you want something. And, you know, if you say, Noel, bring people in, or Noel, do this, or I might pop in every now and then just to surprise you. So
please do. And I'll probably mention a little more about how this all came about, just for some more context.
Awesome. Great.
So I was in New York City for a super long time, graduated from Middlebury College, started off on Wall Street, public relations, never would have imagined that, you know, I heard of Super Soul Sunday, Oprah, she was my Baltimore news broadcaster, but I skipped half my Plato reading back in college. So I never would have guessed I would have ever ended up being in this sort of role. And I had little synchronistic things happen. As an intern at an ad agency in Little Middlebury, Vermont, I did walk in, and in the first hour, I asked if they had ghosts there, and they had just had an exorcism. So little things happened throughout my life that kind of pointed to the other side. It wasn't until I moved to Austin, Texas. I had gotten laid off with 72 others from a billion-dollar law firm with about an hour's notice. I think I was the only one excited. I had a chance to move to Austin, Texas. And when I got to that home, I needed to fill the space more. I didn't appreciate living in a big space, a home. I had moved around 25 to 43 places, depending on how you count a move, on the East Coast. And I never really viewed my space as my space. So I had a bunch of little occurrences happen that forced me to kind of take spirituality, the concept of space, the concept of boundaries, the concept of the psychic stuff a little more seriously. And I did start to hear, feel, and see. And I did the good old American reaction, which was grabbed a Sure Shot camera and started taking photos of angels, fairies. There's an angel named Joy. There's an angel named Charlotte. None of these photos really matter because you can see full on standing in your yard, out and about. You got to get pretty relaxed about this. to trust your own ability to see, but it's just seeing without seeing. As Zen, the Buddhist expression goes, you just are here as if you're a soccer player and you know you're scoring 3 goals in a row. You just are having that amazing day. Or a chef in a kitchen, or when you do yoga and there was no difficulty. It's normally very hard, it's hot, it's strenuous, there's some tension, and it was the one day you went through everything smoothly. Or golf. You know, when you play golf, when you're thinking, you shank the ball. When you're having, when you're one with the ball, one with the club, one with the hole, it's a hole in one. You're also just flying through the course and everything else. Here's my guardian angel, an actual silhouette. And there's no one way for the photos. If you go to my website, you'll see 2 overlapping balls of light, michaelandreford.com. You'll see this photo. You'll see the overall overlapping balls of light. But even the cover of my book, Listening to Angels, it's $4.99 on Amazon. These 2 are in metallic light form next to each other. You can see faces in there. So I really want to emphasize that the photos are really cool. They're really fun, a photo of a fairy. They're also not important at all, because you can just see in your ceiling, on your ceiling, or in front of you, or a little bit of glitter here in light energy form. Or if you're bold, and it takes a lot of boldness, a lot of courage, you can just see standing in your yard there, first without wings or with wings, and then the other way. In America, we love to see it one way or the other. I try to help a person relax to receive it all. Full answers, any questions, all languages, all dialects. Get hugs, the hugs can become healing, and see. But we tend to be a little scared of the concept. We think someone else, like a professional psychic, has to do this for us. So I'm just here as a reminder for folks that you actually, all the skills that you have in life currently, you're a great business person, you're a great athlete, you're a great gardener, you're a great cook, you're a great yoga person. It's not compartmentalized. Those skills that you have in one quadrant actually apply to all of your life. And you have an amazing heart, no limits. It's easy to do limits. That's our thinking. And again, I just help a person navigate out of what they know long enough so their boundaries get pushed back by angels. I try not to tell anybody anything, but they get to receive all with a capital A, or we could just say love is the fabric of the universe. So you're technically giving your permission to angels, to your relatives, ancestors, to Plato, to Mary, to Buddha, to Jesus, to Muhammad, whoever, to come in here and give you a helping hand. It's a lot of love. You get to feel it. Some people get flushed. Some people feel hot. Others, waves of light. And a lot of people yawn. Some people cry. That's a release of what they've accumulated, in the last 5 years or so with their thinking or their drama, life situation, their life story. So what's beautiful about this is it's a completely direct experience. And if we took 5 family members from the Jones family over there, and we split them up like it's a game show and put them in sound booths, they each had an individual experience. And if they were getting along together, the Jones family, they could do this together in a group setting. So that's pretty amazing. Again, the photos are nice. It's great that anything that I'm saying is the way it might be. But the group setting is super fun. They get to see, hear, and feel directly as a group. I had that happen last year at a Meg Institute. It was 2 or 3 women getting to see the angel Joy almost a football field away. I always say she shows up as a blonde. Of course, she showed up as a brunette that night or that afternoon. And again, this is direct. It's fun. It's super easy. It's just our thinking can get in the way like anything else, like taking a vacation, the career thing or the job thing, or our lack. We have a lot of lacks that go on, financial, health, and everything else. So welcome to the movie Casablanca, if anybody remembers Humphrey Bogart and the rest of it, but it's the casino scene. I'm shocked to see there's gambling going on in the casino. And in this case, the gambling or the poker chip stacks are all of our thoughts. And again, if we just pulled angels, the other side, the veil, the universe out of the way, there's a fundamental thing that we're talking about here, which is just lightening up a little, not taking ourselves too seriously, our neighbors that we don't like too seriously, politics, news, all the rest. You can walk a little bit of a smoother path, or a lot more of a smoother path, by just giving yourself a break. You don't have to try to do any of this stuff. So what I'll do, I'm literally talking to just myself here in the way this is recorded, but I mean, I've done this on radio and people have gotten it. So I will put up an angel photo for a second. You can put your hand out and feel the vibe from this angel through 2 screens. I've got a ton of YouTube shorts, a ton of YouTube shows, Angels, Positivity, and Love. I'm the host of it. I think it started in January. I've taped, I think 33 shows, 40 are booked through October, but a lot of people from abroad, 2 from Ireland, Lorna Byrne, the Irish angel mystic, 4 from Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Portugal, Canada, Mexico. So Macchio Clerk was just on talking dream guidance. His show will come out in about 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks. He did this. He put his hand up. He felt angel energy through 2 screens. It doesn't matter if this is 2 years in the future. You can meet Albert Einstein, by the way, but I want to get to why I mentioned Albert Einstein. There's not as much time and space as you think. And that's why this is possible. It's why you can smell the sage. Go back and play this again, or play any one of my other appearances or any of the shows. I always blow some sage smoke to the guests. Lorna did that, just to mention somebody popular. But Kimberly Meredith had the Fifth Dimension book that just came out. She's pretty well known, a healer. And she got to see full on behind me again. People have reconnected with their dads, 2 people on the show. So this is a lot easier than I think people are going to give themselves credit for, or just generally appreciate. You get to be the Hollywood medium, Tyler Henry, but without the sweating, without the doodling, and without too much chest palpitations if you're connecting to Uncle Joe, and Uncle Joe passed of a heart attack. Okay, so here's an angel named Joy. She's literally the emotion joy. You could put your hand out and just see if you can feel on your fingers, your palm, both. Feel her vibration. She's a high vibe, high peppy voice. She's the ambassador communicator. She's actually a pretty big angel. She's here to help you trust enough to get out of your thoughts and what you know, to get into your heart so you can do basic feeling without feeling. Again, the Zen, Shinto, Buddhist expression. You're one with all. You're letting your heart do the actual sensing. And you can feel the vibe, but if you want to leave your eyes on her, she's changed colors in the photo. Historical photos like Audrey Hepburn can wink, smile, shoulder waggle, eyebrow goes up. And we all know a historical photo can't possibly move. So I'll put Audrey Hepburn up next just to prove that point. A few of you are going to get that, and then watch your own reaction. If you say that couldn't be possible, welcome to meeting your ego. And we all have ego. Thinking's not going away. It's just an opportunity when ego pops up to, again, give yourself a break. And if you wish, you can step away from that reaction, that worry, that fear, that stress. You can just do a little more love as often as you remember to remember, if you remember to remember. So angels are wonderful. They're not here to judge. They come in all shapes, sizes, colors. I'll show a few more photos. There's an angel named Mac. Don't call her Mackenzie. She's all about plants, animals, and nature. There's an angel who makes hearts in her photographs. I have many more of the hearts by an angel named Heather. She's compassion. If you even rearrange the name Heather, it makes the word heart with a few extra letters. I've seen angels in human form. You can too. I'm going to throw this out there because when I mentioned Heather, I've seen her in Stockholm, Maui, New York, Austin, in a bookstore. No one way each time. She was a UCLA track star who probably was in real life back in LA, but I was there for a half marathon in Stockholm, and I was in their empty, I don't know what it was, 1906, 1910 Olympic Stadium. It looked like a Viking castle. It's probably a UNESCO heritage site. There was not a single person around. They left it unlocked. And I'm way too early for this half marathon, so I needed to turn my legs over. I'm running repeats. And in walked a UCLA track star wearing UCLA outfit. It was really Heather, and it made my whole trip, plus probably the next month and a half. I got to chat with her after being shy for 20 minutes. So angels can show up in human form, and I've had plenty of people who have done a session and allowed for this, and I've suggested this to Noel and Bob. So if you hear it from them in a few weeks, you see a post or something, don't be surprised. This is really about no limits. What will you allow for, if you want to say it differently? But you knew no limits as a kid. When you looked at the tree and you're like, I'm going to climb really high, or anything else. Maybe you wanted to be an astronaut or anything else. Then adulting kicked in, and adulting hits us all pretty hard. So back to the fundamental concept. You have fantastic electricity, plumbing skills, raw talent at listening, hearing, feeling, seeing. You're as good as the best psychic medium you can name out there. Keep buying their books, keep watching their TV shows, keep going to their seminars, keep going to those institutes. But I'm just here to help folks remember that they've got pre-existing skills. So there's not a lot to this. It's really letting go of what you think you know long enough to connect to the universe fully. That's your heart, to connect to all there is. And if I had to say it one different way, love is a constant. Again, you knew it as a kid, but you knew it during the honeymoon. You knew it during the first week at work when you had a really good time. You knew it during the vacation. And it's up to you to find a way back into that flow that's a constant. It's creativity, it's enthusiasm, it's joy, it's harmony. I'll show you Harmony's photo. Angel is all about harmony. She chose, of course, tranquility, if you note that as her description. But there's a grace, there's a faith, there's a hope, there's a joy. There's a Presley who represents the interconnectedness of all, which obviously doesn't make for a great first name of Angel. So she wrote in on Elvis Presley movies. I'm not a huge fan of Elvis in any way, but every time I was clicking the TV like 10 years ago, Elvis Presley was showing up. So I finally got the clue. I'm super slow. Stuff that takes me 2 years to learn. All of you learn pretty quickly if you work with me. And Noel and Bob have taken the steps. They've heard angels, they've gotten to see, they've gotten to feel, and so on. And it's like this. I can get a little shy about that stuff. But so Elvis Presley stuff, and I knew something was happening, and I heard, just call me Presley. Doesn't matter how you spell it. So I don't have a photo of her, but I do have a photo of 4 archangels. There's 3 more off camera. I have them in another way, 7 shapes of light on my social media, my website, all over. You'll find that, or just go to my photos page at the back of the website. Okay, so why don't we do one more quick exercise? I'll put up 4 archangels in Charlotte. You could put your hands up, see what you can feel what you can feel. Don't judge. Take a deep breath. If you have to shake your hands like you're doing this, or do the chubby checker, do something to relax a little. Put your hands out, feel what you can feel. You might feel some sparkle. I've had a few people over the last 12 years that have felt sparkles on their toes. They were trying too hard with their hands and fingers. But now let's go beyond the linear. Ask them 4 archangels. And I'm sorry, that's Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel in the 4 triangles that look like, rainbow pie slices. Ask them for the smell of flowers in the air, floral, angel's choice. But if you want to smell wisteria, lavender, honeysuckle, hibiscus, you get the idea. Tulips, roses. Again, this goes back to what I was trying to get to before. What will you allow for? As adults, we have a million sets of values. The New York Jets, no bueno. The Rams, yes. Or the Patriots, yes. Or the Dolphins, yes. We know what we know. But if we lined up 8 billion people, a lot of those preferences all cancel out. I don't do tacos. I do tacos. Sushi, no way. So what's interesting is love is a constant. And I got to get back to that because it's really important. You've never skipped a beat or missed a beat or missed a step. You haven't lost anything. And I know that after a divorce, a death in the family, illness, a couple layoffs, we can get pretty rocked by a life experience like that. I mean, I've lost both parents. I'm not trying to take away from any of it, but what I was trying to say is life is a constant. You're fully connected all the time. So this is back to the mindfulness, consciousness thing. Anytime you wish, you can be happy now in this very moment for no reason whatsoever. That's straight out of my Listening to Angels book, written by angels. I saw balls of light as I was typing, and a lot of what I say is straight from angels. So if I sound smart, we're going to blame Charlotte, archangels, and so on. Okay, so you can be happy now in this very moment. Your existence is not dependent on the situation that you're in. Your finances, your career, your job, any losses, your relationships. In fact, you can tap into the flow anytime you wish. So if you want, I'm going to put Joy's photo back up. Give yourself a break. My only rule or structure in 12 years of helping folks is the following. Ask angels to help you out of your head into your heart. And the way to do that is tailor it your way, but make sure you address angels. So here's a suggested way to do it. If you're at the supermarket, don't say this out loud. You'll get busted. Do this silently from your heart straight to angels. You're heard the second you address an angel. They just are on your wavelength, and they can handle 18,000 people at a time. They come in all shapes, sizes, colors, all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of roles and purposes. You're never alone. You're always heard. All languages spoken, all dialects. They do tons of humor. So go ahead and just address angels now. Hey, angels, I sometimes can have a lot of difficulty with this stuff. Right now, get me out of my head. Help me into my heart. Amen. Rock and roll. Thank you. If you're from India, own it with an Om Sai Ram, but just give yourself a break and let angels do the heavy lifting. So I know we could say it this way: get out of your head, out of what you know, get into your heart, let them do their jobs. So go ahead and put your hand back out for Joy. Leave your eyes on her. And why not ask her a puff, easy question? Hey, what do I need to know in life right now? And see if you can hear a little voice back. It'll be a high, peppy voice. You'll hear, hey, or you'll hear your voice. If you hear your voice, that's fine. Don't be analyzing it. But the more you let go, the more it turns into her voice. And see if you can hear what you can hear. Ask for a hug and then leave it at that. You don't need a photo if you're already off to the races with this. You've poked around my website or looked at the book or social media or the YouTube channel. You're going to see tons of photos of angels, tons of little exercises. You can just ask, hey, Joy, are you there right now? And you could get a little wind. You could get a goosebump, squeeze on the shoulder, kiss on the cheek. You could hear, heck yeah, with a little bit of laughter, and you start laughing. Then you're going to think you're crazy. But welcome to my world. This is something I've been doing for 12 years, helping folks let go long enough to do basic questions first so they trust their existing abilities, their own electricity, their plumbing, their system of how they are, their being. And I'm here to say that after helping a lot of folks, you do have to be a little gung-ho, a little open, I should say willingness. I'd never want to interfere. I try not to tell anybody anything, but I am here to say that anyone can let go, to listen, to feel, yes, to see angels. Just think of it as baby steps, maybe 50 of them, but a single act of letting go could count as 15 of those baby steps or those acts of letting go. So it's far simpler than anybody thinks it is, because this isn't about thinking. This is why it's even beyond the concept of angels of the universe. It's about just getting out of what you know and, well, I could say dumbing it down just a little bit to get to your heart. Your heart already knows what to do. Your heart knows no limits. It already is connected to the universe. You could view this as trans-dimensional channeling for a multi-dimensional experience. It's how I would explain, the relative side of it, meeting light beings that are like whales, if angels are like dolphins. You can meet unconditional love figures that run the gamut from Native American chiefs. I use historical photos for Dull Knife Red Shirt Geronimo. So Dull Knife is wisdom with some humor. You can ask him for a sage smell, tobacco, cedar, pine, juniper, Douglas fir. You get the idea. There's like 50 smells. Ask for a sacred scent where you are now. If you need to put a hand on your heart, if you need to close your eyes, do it. This is an unconditional love spirit guide, much closer down to earth. So much easier to experience this. If you want to put your hand out and ask for a little bit of vibe that way, or just ask for a hug, get a hug. There's 1 million ways to feel a hug. Yummy in the tummy, goosebump on the back of your neck, goosebump on your arm, wind in the room if you want. That's Dull Knife, wisdom with some humor. There's the gentlest mom in the world, Red Shirt. He's compassion, 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 wearing a US presidential medal. I believe the day after this photo was taken, he and Geronimo were at the White House on horseback for a Pennsylvania Avenue parade, Teddy Roosevelt. He's, again, the gentlest mom in the world, compassion, 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 speaks so softly. You can just kind of feel, if you'll trust your Jedi Star Wars senses here, your sixth sense, you can feel how relaxed he is. Those two are formal, proper, yes, no. But in the intro, I mentioned Geronimo. Geronimo is sizzling. He's more slang. Yeah, nah, just do it. Ooh, nice. And here's Geronimo young. I'll put Geronimo old up in a second, then remind me, I'll do Audrey Hepburn. Geronimo is like a Zen master. You have no privacy when you're engaging with angels. They know exactly where you're at. You can ask about this life stage, the next life stage, what to do about relationships, how to get out of your own way and let the universe deliver the goods. And so he's action, 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 dry wit, like a lightning bolt. Just do it. If it's the Nike bumper sticker, go ahead and ask him, hey, what's one thing I need to know for the summer, Geronimo? And then hear him crystal clear come in. And it'll be tailored to your life experience. Ask for sage, leather, tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper, again, Douglas fir, you get the idea. Ask for a scent in the air. I'll put up his older photo. And again, he is a sweetie. I've had so many people over the years be a little scared to go in and meet him. I had a bedroom, 4 bedrooms upstairs in Austin. And the one, I had these 3 pictures of the Native American chiefs here, Dull Knife, Red Shirt, Geronimo, done by a famous artist, Jack Davis, who's since passed away maybe 4 years ago. You know him because he's done 16,000 drawings before computers existed. He did the Mad magazine cover with the boy, Alfred E. Newman, I think it is. So he did the Time magazine, Donkey Democrats. He did that famous drawing as well. I think the University of Georgia has a small little exhibit dedicated to some of his work. Beautiful artist, and they're hanging in my office. But as a kid, they were hanging over my bed. When the military folks, I guess, two show up to tell you that, you know, your relative has passed. This is in Virginia Beach. My mom is maybe 23 or 24. She's crushed. The military sedan pulls away, and a neighbor had handed immediately these 3 pictures, which, if you ask angels, it was for protection. So they were there kind of early on. And I was at a dinner party at my own place, trying to play psychic for a few weeks. I had nothing left, hadn't learned boundaries. And I didn't want to cancel the dinner party, but I knew enough that I'd spent my juice. I had nothing left in the batteries trying to help people directly. And I knew this one person was going to ask me a question at the dinner table, and a voice out of nowhere. I hadn't taken any photos of angels. I hadn't met Plato. I hadn't met, you know, Jesus, Mary, anybody. But a little voice comes in and says, when she asks you the question, send her upstairs to that one bedroom with the 3 chiefs, have them answer her questions. And I didn't think about it. Had I thought about it, I was always the skittish type, like most of us are. I probably would have run out of the house, canceled the dinner party. But sure enough, she asked me the question in front of some other folks, and quick as a whip, I was tired, cat-like reflexes. I said, go to that bedroom, find the 3 chiefs, ask your questions, don't come back till you do. And she was gone for 45 minutes. And so we're eating dinner, and it's a lot of like musical types, old school Austin, mature Woodstock crowd. They get spirituality. I took years to figure stuff out. And so she comes back, something's happened. She's got a sparkle in her eyes, and she's like, those guys were great. I got all my answers. And I hid my jaw dropping at that point. So she met Dull Knife Red Shirt Geronimo very quickly. And I said, mental note to self, I need to meet these guys. They've been over my bed the whole entire time since I was a little kid. There's something going on here. And that sort of started me down the rabbit hole. Here's older Geronimo. This should knock everybody's socks off. If you could put your hand out and feel, you know, an earthy vibe, feel Geronimo's vibe, ask for healing. If you're already getting this, you've already had your own experiences, you're a healer, whatever you want to call it, you're intuitive, go ahead and ask for 4 hugs, sandbag the first 2 from him, get a 3rd and 4th hug that are getting bigger and bigger. Ask for what can be taken off of you to be taken off of you. Once in a blue moon, some illness is written, but a lot of it is very flexible. I'm going to make a big point here. Angels, the chiefs, they can alter your path. Just ask them to make it really good, really nice. Like walking into your favorite restaurant, waving hi to the chef that you know really well. You don't even look at the menu, you just say, make it nice. There's Geronimo, catch something in the air, scent of sage, sweetgrass, desert piñol. And now ask him a question. One thing to let go of in life, maybe one thing to start doing in life, one thing to remember in life, and listen. If anybody's still nervous about this, it's really the first time you're dipping the toe into the pool, then just ask, hey, Geronimo, what do I need to know right now in life? And hear a very quick reply. So we're back to no limits, thinking everything else. And we all forget everything all the time. That's the nature of human being. There's ebb and there's flow. As Gabriel once said, I mean, that's the whole point of life. Being human is not easy. Being in the earth school is not easy. It's also, though, incredibly flexible. There's so much contrast here. And if we want to get back to the big picture concept of love, love is what gives all that contrast so much flavor, all the color, all the experiences. You really can't beat it. Yeah, we could feel like it's limiting, or we could say there's this problem, that problem, and everything else. But let's look at Scrooge and Christmas Carol for 2 seconds. It's a 79-page book. We've all seen one of those movies, black and white, animated from Disney and so on. But what we forget is his dream time experience. If we talk Aboriginal or lucid dream or Akashic records getting slapped around a little, it happened in 2 minutes of real time. He had the ghost of Christmas past, present, future. He was only about, at the beginning, thinking, or money, if you want to keep it that way. But he was dental floss for his flow in life. He had forgotten everything he knew as a kid. He had had hard times. He had tightened up. Welcome to all of our life stories. I'm going to digress for a second before I get back to Christmas Carol. If you took your life story and said, hey, well, what is your life story? There's a lot of us that will write 35 paragraphs. This happened to me. This happened to me. This got lost. I lost this relative. Da, 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 da. It gets really long. I would challenge anybody to see how many months, how many weeks, how many years, how many days, how many hours it takes to get it really short. Shorten that life story. That's letting go. I mean, PTSD, trauma, we've lost somebody, it's serious and it can take a long time. But in the same breath, your heart is already there, ready to be open again, connected to all, to have fun. And so life is ready to kind of serve up more adventure, to bring you more experiences. You just have to ask for it. There's no interference. So I guess I'm touching on Abraham Hicks' law of attraction, a little bit of The Alchemist. There's universal forces in place to handle all of your needs. Your desires is probably a better word. So you've got these 3 Native American chiefs. There's also Crazy Horse, Red Cloud, Chief Joseph, Black Elk, White Buffalo, Calf Woman. You can ask Geronimo or Joy right now, are they there? Let's say you've taken a few steps, something happened, you smelled some sage. Just ask Joy the angel if she's there, and you'll hear a heck yeah, or duh, yes. And I'll put her photo up again just in case. But again, you can find these photos at my website, on my social media. And I'm going to do Audrey Hepburn. I promised Audrey Hepburn. I'm going to put her photo up. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have had that photo move. We know angel photos or historical photos can't possibly move. And then the Harry Potter movies came along with those newspapers kind of moved in video style. So here's Audrey Hepburn, an actual angel. And I'll look at the chat bar in just a second. I see messages popping up. And I know Noel can come in anytime she wants, but here's Audrey Hepburn. Leave your eyes on her. Ask angels to make it nice. Ask angels to be in your space. If you need another way to think of it, you're a ball of light. You're about to get on a tennis court. Ask Joy to be in your arm and hit a winner tomorrow on the court. I'm not telling you to beat everybody at the tournaments, but leave your eyes on Audrey. Let her wink, smile, shoulder waggle, move those hands, eyebrow goes up. Catch a floral scent or catch a perfume from Paris that's yet to be invented. Go exotic. What will you allow for? What will you ask for? We're so limited in our approach. That's me, that's you, that's everybody. Welcome to being human. We don't know what to do with any questions, any answers to any questions on any front, in any language, any dialects. That's universal wisdom. I think it's been around for 10, 20, 50,000 years. We just forgot. You can go back and play that again. But so let me say it a different way. And this isn't knocking the scientific community, the near-death experience community, the Buddhist community, the angel community, the this community, the that community, the fantasy football community, anybody. Anybody can get their answers. You just have to be able to get to here. And so picture what happens, because you can meet Einstein. And I'll put Einstein's photo up just to make the point. You can meet Einstein. You can meet Carl Jung. Let's put Carl Jung up. Meet Carl Jung, but ask him a quick question. Get some humor. Ask for a hug. Get a little bump. I've had a few Jungian analysts or Jungian types cross my path in the last year and a half. Carl Jung is super easy. Einstein as well, but scientists could talk to Einstein and get their scientific formulas filled in. Near-death people don't have to have a near-death experience anymore to have a near-death cool, not bad experience where you're connected to, I don't want to say heaven or the afterlife or the universe. You have to use your lingo. I don't want to say any of that because it's so tailored to whichever group we're talking about, but you can connect to the other side in a broad way. And to make that point, you can sit still, close your eyes, be in an India setting with Sai Baba, Vishnu, Krishna, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Sri Kaleshwar, plus angels, and they'll be dressed India style, like a Hollywood wardrobe. It's actually fun, very fun. Your relatives will be kept at a distance so you don't get too distracted. Basically a big assembly to help you out. Medical, healing ceremony, or just a life stage thing. It could be sharing food. It could be educational. You just listen. But you could do this in Tibet. You could have a Middle East kind of sitting still and let them come in and get instruction. Obviously, you can do that at nighttime during your sleep, university classes. I never remember a thing, but I think there's plenty of people out there that remember a little bit more than I do about that stuff. So if you didn't want to trust too much in any of this, you're still just listening and you're nodding, but you're not sure you could do it, don't worry about it. Here's the way to handle that is just say, hey, angels, make it nice. I'm not sure about the details, but sock it to me. I could use a lot more love, sparkliness, walking a smoother path, more opportunity. Could be love, the soulmate. I could use more signs, more guidance, more hints, more synchronicity. Again, you choose the vernacular, you choose the vocabulary you're used to. Let angels deliver. Think of this as going into, yeah, hey, angels, make it nice, and so on. Noel's got it exactly right. Think of this as a 5-star restaurant. Danny Meyer, the guy who wrote something about setting the table, great book. You walk in, they've already got the table reserved for you. Angels own the place. They're the maitre d', they're the chef, they're the staff. You're given a platinum card just as a fake, a head fake. You think you're paying the bill. You don't have to pay the bill. You get the best service ever. And you do yell to the chef, just make it nice. They bring you a 13-course meal that's not even on the menu. What will you allow for is the thing here. And that's where we all hang our hats on different pegs. If I'm from Ireland, I'm Catholic, I got to have it this way. I grew up a certain way. If I'm from over there in a different culture, I got to have it that way. So think of the whole contrast there. But the good news is you can get way out of your own way and simply let angels do their jobs in the present moment. That's the intersection of all the different dimensions or all the different categories or the groups. There's not really a hierarchy, so to speak. Love is love. It's unconditional love. There's definitely more, there's bigger love, there's smaller love. You can get all the help in the world. Fairies, there's a jinn who's East Asian mysticism. Petite fellow, absolutely phenomenal. He's East Asian mysticism again. He's a walking encyclopedia meets the Energizer Bunny. So at the end of the day, there's a ton of figures that will help you. It's how willing are you to grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, go full stop. You might say this is a great idea, but it might be 2 years before you actually sit under a tree or at a desk with a lit candle, some pleasant Italian music playing. You've had a relaxing walk to kind of chill out. And you ask questions about your life and get answers. The record is 49 pages of answers from an Australian, 9 hours. I only checked in every 2 hours. And again, that makes the point that anyone can do this. New Zealanders, Australians, people from India, Canada, I found are just fantabulous at this. So angels exist. Trust that this is so. Allow, and your answers and much more will come. When you ask for a hug, feel a hug. Ask Joy for a hug right now. Feel a million different ways to feel a hug on your person. A goosebump, yummy in the tummy, an energy whoosh up and down your back. Let her move in the photo. Catch a little bit of energy in the air. There's no one way. The more you resist, the more she'll go for some more traditional stuff, but you could feel a hand on the shoulder, kiss on the cheek, laughter, bells, a whistle. You could get, if you're having any difficulty at this, just ask her, hey, Joy, what do I need to know? What do I need to let go of? Give me a simple tip, a reminder on how to just be me here, and hear a few words. It's usually like breathe, relax, you got this, let me do my job. You might get some humor. So that's one of the next things. And those hugs can become healing. Colorblind people have seen color. I've only had maybe a handful, a dozen of people yawn nonstop for hours. Those are the folks usually significant illness, at crossroads. They can choose to stay, they can choose to go, check out. They've got a lot to let go of. If you could just think of your thinking as your garage or your attic. We all know how garages and attics work. A lot of stuff can accumulate. We know what we know. We're not going to get told by anybody, including me, or even angels, to like unlearn something. The New York Jets, all the way. Patriots, no way, or the other way around. So we know what we know. But this isn't about knowing. Most of that knowing precludes possibility. It also takes up our bandwidth when we could have been here. So angels can help like lighten you up. And that's when people start yawning, they start crying, they get everything lifted off of them. Make sure it goes out the window to Russia, not to your attic or to your garage, but you'll feel lighter. So you could begin doing that right away. You don't need me. You don't have to read the Little Listening to Angels book. It's a 15-minute read. I saw balls of light as I was typing. I've had other folks check it out. It's super gentle language. And that's where I got the, you could be happy now in this very moment for no reason whatsoever. And it's statements like that that are just absolutely incredible. They're all about unconditional love, compassion, seeking joy, seeking your truth. You have an authentic inner amazing self that has never gone away. You might have been that person at age 7, 14, 25 last week, but then you lost it, the car wreck or anything else. We can get off kilter, off balance, off center really easy. Angels are a great way to get grounded again and to remember what's important in life. Love, 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 love. So back to the Scrooge analogy or Christmas Carol. We all know Scrooge was a pretty big jerk. It's easy to agree on that. But by the end of the book, 79 pages later, or end of the 2-hour movie, he's a wonderful fellow, still doing great business, full of joy, full of Christmas spirit, full of openness. And so I think that's really all of us, the barometer the pendulum swing, the ebb and flow of life that we go through daily, weekly, monthly, and sometimes decades at a time. And in fact, there's a few of us that'll be lifetimes before we open up again. So this is nothing to be afraid of. Angels exist, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, light beings. I just described them again as whales. If dolphins would be angels. It's all a lot of unconditional love. It's always available for you. You just have to step out of your security blanket a little bit, take this much of a leap, or we'll call it this much of a leap, to go from your head to your heart and allow angels to do their jobs. Noel, what have you got for me?
Oh, always being with you, Michael. It's
A wild ride.
it's just joyful. You know, when we were with you last time, you talked to us about seeing our own energy. And I didn't know whether you were going to demonstrate that at all. And there are some, you know, questions in the chat, but maybe you want to talk about the energy first, and then we can come back to some of the questions and comments in the chat. How's that sound?
Sounds very good. And I'll also give another opportunity in a second to see joy behind me as little sparkles or around your eyes, left and right. If either you and Bob could read those questions to me, I'll be able to respond better. I'm not great at juggling both. Ask Joy, though, to get into your ball of light. Let's just think of you as a ball of light. It's the one thing I like about the Castaneda books from a long time ago in Mexico. I'm not a big fan of the rest of it. I'm not knocking them. Read those books. But have her come in and give you a hand. And if, again, tennis court analogy, if you want to hit a couple winners, have her be in your arm. I have gone running, and 70% of my run was angels in my legs. So I'm trying to just plant the seed that no limits is no limits. Same thing with seeing them as a human. For those who have taken a step out there, breathe, relax, ask her if you can have an angel like Archangel Michael, your guardian angel, cross your path as a full-on human, sparkly-eyed stranger holding the store door open for you, who says just what you were thinking this morning or telling somebody last night. And then you get flummoxed is the word. I haven't used that ever in my lifetime, but you get a little flustered. And you might even say, you think. That's me. I get scrambled right away when that's happened. You can see angels in full-on human form. So I'm going to mention Celestine prophecy, getting back to auras, chakras, chi, universal love, the flow, the force from Star Wars. I think at Celestine prophecy, they do it this way. I know in India, they do it this way. It doesn't matter what way you do it. But I was watching that movie, Celestine Prophecy. This is going to be like 14 years ago. And I was just in a really good mood, had never met an angel, didn't know that was going to happen. Nothing. And I was really cocky on the couch because I was like, I could do that. And I didn't just see light here between my fingers. I saw white light everywhere. And again, to throw myself under the bus, my initial reaction was like, oh my God, what am I seeing? I saw white light everywhere, and I ran to my kitchen. I always ran to my kitchen anytime anything crazy happened. And I did circles like a fish in a goldfish bowl. And I literally was throwing my arms up and down, yelling out loud. No one's in the house. What did I just see? What did I just see? I must have done that for 5 full minutes. And I'll give another example. I'm a runner, trail running up in Austin. This is like 10 years ago. It was 2011, 2010, the 100 days of 100 degrees heat, I think. And my cat, Macy, at the time, an orange cat, fell asleep on my chest. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, wouldn't that be a miracle? That cat never sleeps on my chest. If I woke up from the nap and she was still there, that'd be a real moment. I love animals. I got 2 dogs. Dogs have guardian angels. You can meet your dogs. You can hear your dogs. They're like 3rd graders. So I wake up from a really tough run. It's daytime. I'm taking a nap, and there she is. And I'm like, oh, what a little Christmas miracle that is. There's Macy. And then I look up and I see a ball of light. That's Min, my guardian angel. Again, you can see her 3 different ways. The cover of my book, 2 overlapping white balls of light at my website, or as a silhouette. She's a Pacific princess, light waves of energy and water. And inside that ball of light, I saw every type of wave or water motion possible, a swirl, like 9, 7 different motions at once that are all impossible because you should only, as a human, be able to process one at a time. Somehow it was big. She was saying hi for the first time. And I'm sitting there and I'm like having this moment. I'm like, wow, that's pretty. And I knew stuff was starting to kind of happen. So I rolled with it, maybe an extra 5 seconds. Then my thinking started to kick in. What am I seeing? The little voice up here that has it's a waste of energy most of the time, but we're all going to do it. And think of Jordan Peterson, Richard Dawkins, Rupert Sheldrake. All of them are doing fantastic jobs in different discoveries, different fronts, pushing back. It's ideological wars out there all the time. how often is anybody mentioning the word love, unconditional love, compassion, kindness, gentleness? So look, we can do all the thinking in the world, or we can get busy living, loving, and everything else. My thinking kicks in. I'm looking at that guardian angel and I start thinking more and more. I'm like, what am I seeing? Oh my God, what am I seeing? Next thing you know, cat's off my chest, legs are off the bed, and I go running to the kitchen once more. What did I just see? What did I just see? Doing a fish in a fishbowl over and over again. That was my natural reaction. Had I been in a driveway, I would have been jumping up and down. And that's the reaction I've had from two guys to one guy. Two of my sprinkler guys showed up. I showed them their energy on their hands. They met angels, they met Audrey Hepburn, but one of them, seeing the light on his fingertips, jumped up and down in the driveway and had that, holy cow, that was pretty. What did I just see? What did I just see? That's my type of reaction to all this stuff. So in a way, I'm the last guy in the world that you should listen to, because I have those reactions. I'm not cool as a cucumber. Most people, I think, are pretty mature about it. The Woodstock crowd would just be like, okay, I saw it. It's pretty. What's next? So what do you see? It's the Hindu chakras. It's the colors. It's white, gold, green, yellow, pink, fuchsia. It's colors beyond human definition. It is the whole chakra thing. White light's all the colors combined. If you see rainbow light, drop everything, leave the show, run out and buy your lottery ticket. You were stalled on your book, stuck on the last chapter, the last 2 months. You've told everybody for 5 years you're writing your memoir. You almost got it done, but now you're stuck. Writer's block. You see rainbow light, you're in healer mode. Go lay a hand on your cat who's arthritic. Go finish that chapter like that. You can have angels help you type. There's no limits, but we're not used to no limits. We're so much easier. Like, we're so acquainted as humans with my problem is, my situation is, you don't understand. I got 19 kids, 6 cats. I got laid off from IBM after 45 years yesterday. You know, that's the way we roll, and that's okay. But what I'm suggesting is flip the pancake here and go for broke. Find a way to navigate yourself, and then don't even worry about that. Let angels navigate yourself. You have no privacy. They know how to work your value system. And it's why if we took 1,000 people and they all listened to Joy or Archangel Michael, and they all asked the same question, what is compassion? And they all asked that same question for 30 years straight. Not a single answer has to be the same. Angels have a way of constructing every answer uniquely. And on top of that, forget all the languages, forget the dialects. If you're from India, you can hear it in Telugu, you can hear it in Hindi, you can hear it in English, blah, blah, blah. And from that remote village dialect, you also hear the answers just the way you personally need to hear it to be left motivated on cloud 9, a little bit of personal. You know, they understand that workplace dynamic, that relationship dynamic. You're still looking for your soulmate. But half the time on this stuff, we're trying way too hard and we don't get how it really works, the flow, the energy dynamic and everything else. I'll try the, I'm not going to do it the traditional way. It takes a little longer. This is easy. I've done this for 3,500 people. I think at a Hop Dotty, it's a burger chain here in Texas, in Austin, South Congress. I think I did 13 or 27 people in a day. I hung out there for a while. Burger, they've got great shakes. I'll do it this way. Here's a traditional Bic lighter. You're going to see whatever, say it out loud at home, gold, yellow, white, whatever color the light is, and own it. So that was an easy step. Everybody got an A+. You just looked at a lighter. And now ask Joy, and I'll pull up Michael's photograph, Archangel Michael. Ask Joy and Michael to get in here and help you. Ask Joy to show up on the light as a little pink. You might get purple. You might get a bright yellow sparks, a vortex of light. Michael, an extra white light. Ask them to come in. If you are gung-ho about listening, go ahead and hear affirmation from them that you've got this. They're going to help out. Now, let's go for the basics again. Don't be slumped, touch your face, anything like that. Close your mouth. Try to just breathe and relax. And if you need to get back to your center, because I've been talking a lot and you've been doing other things. So go ahead and just ask angels to get you out of your head, into your heart, make this nice, help you see extra angel light on top of the American Bic lighter flame. Get a little extra. So ask angels to make it nice, breathe and relax. And take a look at the light, and maybe you'll catch a little bit of pink light, extra purple. I'll try not to breathe on the flame. That would help. I'm keeping it on camera today, which is good. Sometimes I'm like way over there and they're like, hey, Mike, bring it back to the camera. See if you can catch a ball of light, sparkles. If you're resisting it all, you might get sparkles 2 inches off to the left, periphery, as if somebody's at the Macy's cosmetic counter and they spilled that glitter and the fan caught it. What will you allow for? I can't hold that forever. So you have no limits, and there's plenty of little exercises all over my YouTube channel. If you need guts or courage, I need like to have things told to me 100, 1,000 times, and I need 5 years for what all of you do like this. But if you need like that type of support, which I would demand if I was in your shoes, go watch the show a little. Pick your favorite person from, South Africa or wherever, and watch them go through the motion. It's much later in the interview. Maybe start with the interview, hear their background, hear what they do. They're all show hosts, experts, authors, healers, some amazing. Kimberly Meredith will be on in 3 weeks, Mackie O'Clerc, and so on. But you get to see a lot of them go for broke. They go into the casino and they go big, and they are putting their hand out. They're asking for hugs. They're getting hugs. You'll see yawning. You'll hear them get answers. They'll share a lot of answers. I'll make sure they get some personal answers too. I do this before the show and after a lot bigger, because the point of the show isn't really to try to prove anything. So you all have these abilities. I'm going to ask Noel and Bob if they could to read some of the questions that we should try to answer here, because I haven't looked at the chat. I apologize.
No problem. You've been doing excellent. Just want to say, when you held up the flame that last time, it looked like it had pink glow around it. That I hadn't seen before. That was pretty cool. But well, let me go back up here. I know you have answered some of the questions, but Linda is asking, or actually, I'll just put it into gallery view, and everybody can unmute. And we have, I just want to, Linda, do you want to unmute and ask your question? You had a couple there. Beth's coming direct from you. So.
I'm going to have to look at what I wrote, because I don't remember exactly what I said. I mean, I know basically it was, what was it that convinced you or persuaded you that, okay, I need to pay attention to this stuff?
Well, about 3 years and about 1,000 little things, because I'm not a fast learner at all. Let's say I was in Plato's class back in ancient Greece. I'd be the back row making paper airplanes, distracting, and a rotten listener, even today. And I can think of a lot of good students. In fact, I'm probably in the 1% quartile, except PR, I was at the top very fast. I got yeses from everybody. So I try to pay attention a little bit more today. I sometimes need a little knock on the head. I need the blatant red-tailed hawk to fly by, or the hummingbird comes up to me. I mean, I go for a lot of runs. I go in the pool. I think part of it is I'm like this. I need everything explained to me. I'm that type. But that also is a pretty good barrier for me, and it keeps me very grounded, very center. It could be viewed as dumb or slow, but I'm very open and I'm very enthusiastic. One thing is my enthusiasm is contagious, and that also drives a certain group of people nuts, but that's not a bad thing. It keeps people at a distance who shouldn't be near me.
Okay, so I'm going to ask this other question, because you're sort of answering it, but you're sort of not answering it. So the question is, okay, you're 56 years old. You said you've been doing this for 12 years. Okay, so what happened then?
So 42, I mean, joy came out of my floor in my living room as a big pink shooting Roman candle. Early on, I had only done a little bit of seeing, but I knew something was up, and I hear Joy go, ta-da, hi, I'm Joy. That's the pink ball light one. She literally blew out of my living room like I'm in a Disney movie with, is it CGI? So she Roman candled out, and I'm like, oh my God. And then a foot over, she did it again, and through the ceiling, floor to the ceiling twice. And I had to pay attention. And also, by the way, I tried to not pay attention. I did really good at that. Middle of the night, that whole, if you're a shaman or a cultural, you're Hawaiian, whatever, and at 3:30 in the morning, you're getting woken up. They say for 25 years, the kapuna, kahuna, kahuna. I would be the unfortunate type that would roll back over in bed. My cat was braver than me and go to the living room. When I did go out, to show you my resistance, I'd go straight to MTV to watch my music videos or old black and white. I'm a sucker for black and whites. But the black and white film would be an angel film. Or the MTV thing would be Hello, Hello, Hello song by Dragonette, and I forgot the guy's name, a DJ from France, I think. Hello, hello, hello. I just came by to say hello. And that was my guardian angel giving me a song. And so I'm going to mention a couple black and white movies. One is from like 2006. It's Luc Besson. And he did Fifth Element, Joan of Arc, The Professional with Natalie Portman. But he had this script for 10 years that was about guardian angels. And it's filmed in black and white. They shut down Paris. It's called Angela, or Angel-A. It is a gorgeous, but Hollywood, a little bit of violence. He did The Transporter. Eurocore is his film company. So there's a lot of action in it. Never piss off a guardian angel and the mafia bodyguards got taken out like this. But I have a more classic black and white film for you that was also another one that came out 4 years before It's a Wonderful Life. And I think it puts It's a Wonderful Life to shame. And not to put it that way. It's a Wonderful Life is great. Lucky Partners with Ginger Rogers when she was #1 in Hollywood. It's on my website. You don't have to write anything down. If you go to books or suggested reading, you'll see the DVD section. And I think I dedicated a page to Lucky Partners. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous black and white 1940 film with a guardian angel named David. And oh my God, it will thrill you. So, and also it has the director from All Quiet on the Western Front, Ocean's 11, the original with Frank Sinatra, right? The black and white classic from the 50s. I forgot his name, but he was the #1 Hollywood film director, the #2 highest paid male actor, #1 top female actor, and you've never heard of Lucky Partners. It's honestly the most hidden gem of a guardian angel movie ever. So I was easily reached through movies, through film. I did the best I could to not pay attention. I also grabbed the camera, not as a skeptic, but I'm seeing and I'm like, whoa. And I used to hand the people the camera. And what's great is you can just see in person. If you look out to your lawn, you might need a football field, or if I'm at my I help so many of my vendors or people who help me. But you might have to look a football field away to allow for seeing Michael or Joy or Plato or Mary. And then to see a relative, you have to really let go. I always do angels first, but to see a relative, usually that's very personal. You get choked up. I can't be surprised. If it's dream time with your eyes shut, it'll be down a Hawaiian beach and you'll see your relative, really far away waving hi, if that's as much as you can handle. If it just happened recently, you're going to be touchy about it. There's plenty of folks, though, I'm surprised. They're like, no, I know Fred's around and I'm ready for it. And then they get like a direct experience, which is really nice. So again, each one of us is different. I'm not your Uncle Sam, I want you type poster person in one sense, because I'm not a scaredy cat, a little bit of a scaredy cat, and slow about it. But in the other sense, I've tossed all caution aside and just rolled with it. I do have to mention one more thing. Everybody has an ego. If you need 5 seconds of breathing space with your own ego, give it an opera name, give it a soccer star name, Fittipaldi, Formula One race car driver name. I gave mine, I think, Mr. Higglesworth. If you ever feel heavy, saturated, you've interacted with too many people, you didn't keep your boundaries, you didn't blow any sage around, you've picked up their emotional energy because you're wildly empathic or something. You can just, if you sense something that's not you, and I taught this for years, and I have a quick story on this, you can just be like, give your ego a name, be very gentle, very loving. Ask Mr. Higglesworth if it wants a hug, and it will cruise. It will leave you alone long enough that you get just 5 minutes of peace and you're back to here and you feel cleared out. So I did that for years. And I remember there was a kitchen in Austin, my first home. I've got a full Starbucks mug, those old classic 20-ounce mugs. And I feel thoughts that I'm like, wow, that's really heavy. I'm usually a pretty happy, like go lucky guy. I'm like, wow, I should probably take my own advice. I've been teaching people. So I said, hello, Mr. Higglesworth. How are you today? Do you want a hug? And every fire alarm in my house went off. And I was like shaking, not spilling the coffee. Had it been a year earlier, 6 months earlier, I would have dropped it. It would have been that 10-year cleanup splash that went everywhere. And you're finding splash marks 2 years later behind the fridge. Instead, I went like this. I called my lifeline in Smithville. A psychic was helping me out. I have asked every dumb question. I've grabbed every psychic at the beginning, shaking them like what's going on out of a sci-fi film or out of the 1930s films where they're like, what's happening to me? And at the end of the day, you can ask all the questions you want, but I would say address it all to angels. Trust that you have the best listening post, better than NSA in Australia, better than the observatory telescope or whatever. And trust me, women to me are leading the way. They're automatically bedrock. They just have an incredible ability to just receive. I grew up with my mom, so I feel like part of that is washed off on me a little, at least. I'm super creative. But so back to that, I put it down. I called my lifeline and she said, you were a little too pushy on do you want a hug? Ease up a little. You got to actually be loving when you offer the hug, because your ego is going to give you a black eye right back. Don't ever pick a fight. You can't win against yourself. So.
Thank you.
Does anyone else want to join the conversation here? you can just unmute. And in the meantime, while someone is thinking about that, I wanted to read to you a comment that came through the Facebook. And right now I am finding it. Okay, hold it a second.
Here, I got it.
You got it? Go ahead.
It's from Mary in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. This was early on when you were just starting, Michael. It says, sitting on my patio, just joined in when a cardinal flew into the bird bath my friends gave me in 1998 when my mother passed. She loved birds. Maybe she was visiting tonight.
That happens. I've got a tufted titmouse that I always think is my mom. First of all, my mom and dad are around. So at one point I viewed it as that typical, they're not around. And now I'm like, no, they're around. It's not as big a deal. But hundreds of people have met them, like at a Target, a Walmart. If you know the person, they're comfortable, they've met angels, they can meet mom and dad. So I just need to, I'll show a photo of them, like taken probably about a year or two before my dad's death in 1970. There's Barb and there's Mike Sr., same name as me. And they're around. You can hear Barb. If anybody's got a financial question, just ask Barb. That's, Barb Ford, Barb Williams, whichever. But just, you can hear her talk. She's very creative artist, great at connecting people. My dad is a little more quiet, gentleman-like, but hundreds of people have met them. So that kind of changes the dynamics. You just have to trust that you're never alone. You do have privacy though. So like if you get in the shower and you view it one way, you want your privacy. On the other hand, I find I used to chat away all the time. Like shower is the best, running is the best, walking your dog is the best, or just sitting with a cup of tea. You're wide open at that point. And if you need to be constructive about it, write your questions down the night before on a legal pad. And my book is all about that. For $4.99, less than a Starbucks cup of coffee these days, it shows you specifically how to kind of get out of your own way. It's all angels, 100% written by them. But what I'm trying to point out here is that a lot of the topics are charged. They're stressful. They're about lack, or why has this not happened? Why has this happened? It's the whole Ted Lasso and what half my guests have been talking about the last 5 episodes. Why has this happened to me? And then Lasso, they mentioned in that show from Apple, the TV show program series thing, events don't happen to you. They happen for you. Absolutely. To help you grow your foundation. Yeah. And that's everything in your life has had a reason to it. Good luck appreciating all of it. The 5th divorce, what do you do with that? But if you want to get the lowdown, angels will give you the backstory, and that gets mighty interesting, including past lives. I'm not saying get hung up on past lives. It's like all the other different areas. We could chase UFOs and what the government knows or what we've retrieved and to the end of time. And if you look at Twitter, I just don't see anybody talking about unconditional love and consciousness. It's available now. You don't have to worry about the Twitter feed. You don't have to go to the big scientist. You can meet light beings straight off. Here's an angel named Dale. He's from pretty far out. Coached a famous gymnast who won a lot of gold. You'd know the name. He's a great coach for everything. I'm a runner for 40 plus years since I was 14. Half the time I'll be like, grab a beer and put your feet up, which shocks me still to this day. Because you're expecting good training advice and they're telling you to relax and take it easy. You can see a face in there if I hold this right. But I once asked a big picture question, not who killed Kennedy. I asked, how fast could mankind kind of let go, grow in consciousness, whatever you want to call it, more awareness for all? And the answer was 3 hours. Now, if you ask me after 12 years of doing this, that's 30 to 30,000 years away, but it could still be 3 hours. And here's how. If every satellite and every person and every device had a photo of an angel and we were all like kumbaya and hey, I want to everyone was like suddenly, less war, less thinking, less judging, less knowing, less blocking. And we were really interested in raising our vibe, we could all get it done. But when was the last time, even inside our own, church or a group or this organization or that organization, when are we all swimming completely in the same direction, like rowers in a shell, in an 8-man shell in the Olympics in unison? It's awfully hard. And I think that's beautiful. We're all somewhere. I wouldn't want to tell a person a thing. I wouldn't want to tell you to jettison this thinking because it's too heavy for you. You can see that on a lot of people. Instead, it's that everything is perfect as it is right now, which you're like, are you kidding? Have you looked at the Twitter feed? Have you looked at the news? What about this? What about that? Climate this. An angel did say once, Fiona, she said, it's not up to humans to fix anything like when it comes to the earth, like climate. And I thought that was interesting. I find that a lot more contextual with all the talk on the UFO disclosure stuff. And there might be a lot of extra interdimensional beings and yada, yada, yada. I stick to light beings, unconditional love, big, fits that whole UFO disclosure UAP thing. It took me years to allow for light beings. I had a brand new build home in North Austin and light beings kept coming up. And I had a huge amount of resistance to that topic. And yet I'm going into my closet. The closets are now separated. And I come in and I've got light beings touching my face. I'm not seeing light, but I feel it. And it's all friendly. And I didn't run out of the house screaming, but it took me like a year or 2 years to get a comfortable. It took me 6 months to allow for Plato or Ginger the Fairy or Tinkerbell. You can meet her. I'll show a picture of Tinkerbell in just a second. But what I'm trying to say is this is all a lot for our grasping, our intellect, our what will we allow for, and maybe not. Maybe many of you've had so many guests on that it's probably not much of a stretch. But at the same point, there's some breaking spot where we're not completely comfortable. We might be like, well, I don't know about India, the country figures, or Native American chiefs, or it's the other way around. I love Native American chiefs. I'm not really going to do a religious figure like, Mary or Jesus or Joseph the angel. Okay, so here's archangels as I find Tinkerbell. That was over my house. I just grabbed a camera and I just kind of knew to step out and shoot over my house. I have a fantastic shot of a concert where it's a million balls of light. And I'll show that next at Stubbs Barbecue. If you know downtown Austin, they have a great concert venue. It's not raining and you can see Joy in the center. And you can see Claire, the bright purple there.
Wow.
And it's not raining. And I asked a question, if everybody had a camera, would they all get the shot? And it was either 1/3 or 2/3 would have gotten it, but you need to be here. So if there's any resistance to what I'm saying, ditch it, because it's not about what I'm talking about. And here's Claire again. This is one of our dog's guardian angels, but don't hold that against her. She's here for everybody. She's great if you've had a lot of trauma, PTSD.
Do
You can put your hand
have
out
like
and feel her.
a deck of these, or are they just pictures on your website?
They're on the website and everything's electronic. These are real photos of angels and there's no one way about this. Plus you get to see directly and the same angel might not always show up the same way. Charlotte, the blue ball light, I saw her in a Starbucks. I was meeting with my book editor a year or 6 months before Glow Stick Zen came out. And she was a woman staring at me, drinking coffee, wearing Santa Fe, New Mexico garb, turquoise jewelry. She stuck out like a sore thumb in Austin. And I could never get that out of my head. And again, I asked the important questions. When angels are in human form, are they actually drinking the coffee? The answer was yes. So if you have an angel cross your path, have the cojones, have the guts. This isn't me. I usually get scrambled. Ask them for a cup of tea if they can spare 5 minutes to sit down with you. I've had a few people take it to that next level. I think that's a 1 in 1,000 type experience. There's a woman in the Caribbean who has gone walking with angels in full-on human form versus just seeing them in your yard where they've sort of beamed in. I don't know how to distinguish this. This is where if you pinch Abe, the Abraham of old, is an angel, grandfatherly figure, or Charlotte or Michael, they could pinch you back with a little laugh and you're like, oh my God, and then you freak out. So here's Dale, and I'll give one quick peace story. It's a January and it's super warm in Austin, like 70 degrees, San Diego weather. Couldn't have a better day. I'm walking out of a crystal shop, not to sound cliche here, but I'm happy. I'm walking slow, Austin, Texas style, opposite of my 20 years in New York. I still talk fast, but I walk out, I'm at peace, and I look over and I see from the neck down, he's wearing scrubs, Dale. You can close your eyes, and if you're super hyper intuitive, he'll show you a movie reel of this. Scrubs, but he's Dave Matthews with more manicured professional rock band look, but like way too much to be a doctor, but totally manicured. So he's Hollywood. He rolls his eyes and he looks at me. I get sizzled and I drop to a New York City speed walk. My car's across the street. I get to the corner. I'm hitting that. I'm just focused on one thing. I'm completely panicking. I'm hitting that crosswalk button. He's standing next to me. I'm not supposed to talk to him. It wasn't written in for that visit, but he was just saying hi. I made eye contact 1 or 2 more times. I got completely scrambled. So I've seen angels a lot of times. Got to hang out with Heather, surf with her in Maui a long time ago. They got great cover stories, Portuguese ballerina taking time off from life. it's a really long story. So like ditch that stuff because it might be harder to believe, but you can just have your own experience. I've had a Swede who gave me a testimonial in New York in the last year and a half. If you go onto the website, I got 90 plus testimonials. After her session the next day, Abe, the Abraham of old, an angel, was a little old man trying to cross the street with a cane. And she thought he wasn't even going to make it like alive across the street. He was so old, so not moving, just couldn't even get down the curb. Then when he saw her, he lit up, yelled, "Hi, good morning." And that's nothing like how New Yorkers behave. And she could not get like a note quick enough out, like, "Oh my God, I just had an angel cross my path." So here's another way to put all the skepticism or all the what will I allow for, or how is this possible? How do you know a good cup of coffee or a good cup of tea when you have one? And that's all you need to know for the trust factor. If you had the best mint tea or the best Colombian cafe con leche, that's the best coffee I know. You are saying yum, and how fast can I get another one, or when can I come back to get another one? You just know.
Oh, I said
So-
that about gelato. And I don't mean to interrupt you, Michael, but I think Christy might want to jump in here.
Oh, please, Christy.
Yeah, I'm sorry I was late. I didn't even intend to be late. I had it all set up and then somebody came that I had to talk to. So I missed your opening. But what I'm gathering is that you're saying that angels will take human form and connect with us. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and you can keep it to basic listening. You don't have to have human form. You can just hear, write down answers, or just hear. You can see a little bit of light in your room where the ceiling meets the wall if you're comfortable with that. You can see them full on in your backyard or down the hallway. I mean, if you were skydiving yesterday and your chute didn't open and you bounced, and every camera crew in 5 states wants to interview you, you're the miracle survivor, not a scratch, you feel pretty good, then you have ditched thinking for the next 3 days for sure. You're not going to worry about bills.
Yeah, I've had angel experiences like that.
Yeah.
And my last name is Michaels because I was guided by Archangel Michael to take his last name as a way of carrying the energy of protection that he that he says. And I've had that orb show up when I was doing some Magdalene work. We did a ceremony up at the top of Mount Ségur in the south of France, and the orb showed up in our little altar that we created in honoring the Cathars, and it was so striking, so perfect. And then the day I got ordained, the room was filled with orbs, and I had like orbs this big, red, bright red, huge
Wow.
orb.
Do the different
you have-
colors mean anything different? You know,
Pardon?
do the different colors of the orbs mean anything different?
Yeah, well, I just was filled with joy. I don't know. I've had different people look at my friend took a photo of it, and so it's all on camera. But it was a much bigger. It was down here, and it was like this big. And then I had the rainbow orb showed up, and oh my God, it was like.
What was your
glorious.
first name again?
My first name is Christiane, but everybody
Christiane.
calls me Christy.
Christy, do you have daylight where you are right now still?
Yeah.
Do you have a window you can see a tree where I might be standing if I was standing out like, 3
Yeah,
tennis
there's a-
courts, 2 tennis courts away? If you want to look at a tree, but first look at Joy and Archangel Michael, just ask them privately, leave your eyes on them. And anyone can kind of do this if you don't mind like daylight or at least a light, like what do you call those? A floodlight if it's dark where you are. Ask Joy and Michael if you've got this. And then if you need a hug or something, or just ask for a little oomph in your ball of light that's you, a little help. Ask them if you've got this, but you can look out. If you're making Michael a big deal, then do Joy. If you don't care, then do Michael. But leave your eyes where I would be standing by a tree waving hi to you, but let Michael show up. It could be classic. You might get, the robes thing, or you might get jeans and a modern shirt. It's up to Michael how he shows, but you would just look outside, pick a spot, let him do his job and show up. You can see with or without wings. I always try to make sure you do both. But take a look outside, leave your eyes on a spot, let them do their job and show up. It short circuits things for a little bit. You need to just be in your heart the whole way. If anybody's having any stress about that, exhale like a whale, ask angels to take off any blocks. That's pretty easy to do. Some people will get light. Some people will get a column of light if they're not fully letting go. I've had people who are really into Sai Baba from India. They sail through the angel part, but they make a big deal of Sai Baba, and then they only see a little bit of light when it came to Sai Baba. It was going to be the really big deal. So you can't, you've got to be here and you can't be thinking about it up top.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. So get into the heart and.
Well, I think the
that's,
angels helped me today. I had to write something for a church service, and I just really didn't know what I was going to write at all. So I just sat down and said, come on, do your job, as you say. And I was really impressed. You know, we'll find out what the rest of the congregation thinks on Sunday, but me and my angels were impressed. And I know that Olivia is an author writing, 3 books, so
Wow.
work for me. Very helpful. But it looks like
I'm getting his orb.
Oh, good, good, good,
The
good.
orb is showing up.
So just a quick bit of encouragement for anybody out there. It's whatever way you'll allow for. Just trust that name your favorite psychic. Is it Van Pra? I forgot his name. But you know, there's classic famous folks who do classic famous stuff. You know, keep doing their seminars and everything else. I love Dan Millman, Peaceful Warrior. Not necessarily intuitive, but boy, is that a fantastic book and a movie. You've got that though. So just get out of anything you think that's holding you back. If you have to light a candle, if you have to do some sort of jumping around to just feel like you broke your stuff, play happy music, play Italian opera. You haven't listened to it in 20 years. It'll make you laugh though, playing it full loud with your dog dancing. Then I'm guaranteeing you cleared out at that point. Blow sage on yourself, but pick a spot and just ask, can I do this? You know, make it an appointment on Sunday, you know, so you take the pressure off today. Hear when to go and have that experience. If you need to be sitting in your pool, body of water is one of the fastest ways to get reconnected to everything. You know, whether it's a shower, a pool, waterfall, put your feet in the pool, it doesn't matter. Just give yourself a break. Everyone's fully capable of this. And what's wild is if you have a twin sister, you're getting along this week, she does it, you do it, you can do it together. Joint seeing, joint feeling, joint hearing. I mean, I'm off the hook, thank goodness, because good luck with all this. You're working with, you know, human beings, and we're all so darn ingenious. There's nothing foolproof. We're all so darn ingenious. So
beautiful. Well, it looks like we're about out of time here, and thank you so much, Michael. This has been, I don't know if anybody else wants to unmute and give some gratitude. We've had, just about the same number of people on Facebook watching. I know there's a lot that are going to be picking this up. Thank you, Bob, for monitoring the Facebook and putting in links for everyone, where to get Michael's books, where to look at the photos. And it's just been such a delight. Yes, it's been joy. Joy, joy, joy.
you can ask her to show up and cross your path any way you can handle it, from a bird to a butterfly that's not quite there. You look again and you know it couldn't have flown anywhere else. It was there and now it's not there. A hummingbird comes right in front of you, or bigger. That human holding the door open, sparkly eyed, she may be a man or a woman, but it's a fierce experience because you're like, oh my God, what do I do with this? And you get scrambled. You're usually a complete adult about this stuff and you lose it. You go all 18 again.
I love it. I look for it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
It's been really fun.
So much. This has been very, it's like the pep talk we should get about once a month, because we need it and we forget it and then get it, or I do, I'll speak for myself, get into my head and then something will happen and I have to have what I call a state change. Yeah.
Well, Noel and Bob, thank you very much. Thanks to every one of you in the audience who have asked questions or just been watching. No limits means no limits. Allow for what you can allow for. Before bed, make your requests. If you want to keep this super simple, you don't have to do anything. Just trust that you're heard and trust that you've got a big catcher's mitt, baseball. Send it out to the universe. Let angels do their jobs and deliver the goods. You only have to catch it or pay attention is what the catching is. Slow down enough to pay attention and voila. That's it.
And everyone can look forward to his website, michaelandreford.com. Lots of information there. Yeah. I'm going to be watching that movie. What was it? The Lucky
Lucky
Okay.
Partners, it's on my website under suggested reading. I've got a ton of books, movies, you know, Eckhart Tolle is on there, Byron Katie, but then a lot of hopefully unusual material too that should be interesting.
Yeah, the
Very
Lucky
good,
Partners
very
movie
good.
link I put in the chat also.
Look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yes, I've
So
even
much
got YouTube
everyone.
video clips of Lucky Partners, at least 4. So you can see like a 30-second clip, a 30-second clip, a 30-second clip off YouTube.
Great.
Olivia, you've got archangel light energy coming out of your eyes that I can see from my.
Awesome.
Thank you, Christy. It's nice to see you here.
Yeah, good
I
to see you
just-
too.
We just got to the Valley of the Mother near the Peace Village, so I'm in beautiful energy here.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
Shining on.
Michael.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you,
Nana.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. May peace
Bye.
prevail on earth.
Bye.